Hey y'all, so today we got a new video like most days, and today's a little bit special because this is the highest rated player I've ever managed to beat. Um, I beat 2400. Before this game, my opponent was 2404, which is very nice. And yeah, let's just get into it. So d4, my opponent starts off the game with knight f6, and I go bishop g5, which is my normal thing. My opponent goes g6. And recently here I've been messing up a lot of my theory, which is really strange. So after all this, I know what I'm doing. E3, my opponent goes here, and in this game I played my theory correctly. For some reason G3 gets an inaccuracy. This is actually the best engine, the top engine line, and under more depth. But G3 is very good. Bishop G2, this is the setup I'm going for. Very simple. I castle, and I played this a bit wrong. I should have played a bit more accurately. Either I could have played c4 immediately, which is very interesting, or I could play this move knight a3, which is very nice. I chose knight d2, which is fine. Low Level Vengeance says it's best. In actuality, knight a3 is the best move, which makes sense. It's slightly more active than knight d2. And I probably should have done that, but knight d2, my opponent goes c6. I go c4, takes, and my opponent plays this move bishop d6. And we're out of the opening, and I've gotten pretty much everything that I want. My bishop is very strong. I've got pressure that I'm going to start putting on the queen side. I've got this file for my rook. I can put this rook here and start pushing my d-pawn. And I already feel that I have a very slight advantage out of the opening. Now, I am playing at 2400, so the nerves are getting to me. I almost never play people this high. The highest rated player I've ever played was actually Grandmaster Min Lee, which is pretty cool. I ended up losing that game. I might show this on this channel eventually, but not right now. I go rook c1, which I thought was very natural. Basically, I need to move my rook over. I could have played queen c2, but I thought that my queen would be better placed on like b3 or a4, and I didn't want to pin myself immediately, so I went for rook c1. My opponent goes bishop d5. I simply capture because I realize it's the best move. If he captures with the c pawn, he has an IQP in the center, and this pawn is actually very weak in all future endgames. And I'm probably just better. And so he has to capture the queen. And now I thought this move knight f4 seemed very natural again. Just simply putting my knight in the center, developing it, which is very nice. Now controls some key squares, and it comes there with tempo, so it's very nice. My opponent comes back to d7. I go with this move queen b3, putting pressure on the b7 pawn, trying to induce this move b5, because actually I was thinking about maybe going knight d2 back and just allowing him to have made a weakness on c6, or maybe even knight a5. Probably not, but knight d2 just seems very reasonable. I start targeting this pawn, and I should just be much better. I have some ideas to go here in some lines. This knight can go up here maybe, and I should just be better. My opponent instead goes with this move knight a6, and I ended up just bring my rook to the center because the knight doesn't have any forward momentum, and if it wants to go back to c7, it's fine. It can go back to c7. I don't care. I want to play d5, and also one other little thing. If the knight ever gets to d5, I can just take it. If queen takes, he drops the pawn here, so he'd have to take with the pawn, but then again, IQP, it's an endgame, I'm just better. So I was totally unafraid, so just rook d1. My opponent goes rook b8, defending the pawn again. I don't know about this move. I didn't really like this this maneuver by my opponent. I didn't think that it was that good. Here I made a mistake. I should have played d5. d5 would be a very nice move, but what I didn't like is that I lose control of the c5 square, and I thought that that kind of justified his play because now his knight has c5 in some lines. I don't know, maybe he could play c5 immediately. I didn't really like this position, in all honesty. I thought that this was maybe slightly better for me, but I thought that I had something better. So I instead decided that, okay, my knight is a little misplaced. I'm not really going to the e5 square, so I dropped it back to d2. It's inaccurate, but Basically, the idea is that I want to keep my knight's ideas open. I might go to f5, f3 at some point and start maybe playing for d5 again, because then my rook, my knight, and my queen all defend it. Thought that was a very interesting plan. Also, another plan that I have here is going queen c4, knight b3, and then d5. After all that, it's a little slow, it's a little ambitious, but whatever. My opponent goes bishop h6. I have to bring my knight back. Don't want him to trade to ruin my pawn structure, because then, I mean, I wouldn't be doing that as well. Like bishop h6, the idea is very simple. He wants to take my knight, because his bishop is bad. His bishop is just very bad. It's very poorly placed, staring into my pawn, and I have 6 out of 7 pawns on dark squares, just completely blunting the bishop. So my opponent goes queen e7. I play this move a3. That was very nice. Basically just telling him that knight b4 is never a thing, and I can freely move my queen away now. My opponent goes back to c7. I go to e5. Very natural, basically saying his bishop has moved away from the g7 square, which is defending this square, and now I have the ability to put my knight there. And now he has no idea of playing any b pawn move, because of course that would end up in a fork. He doesn't want to do that previously, but now even more so. Bishop here, I solidify my knight in the center. Very natural. My opponent comes with the knight over to d5, and I don't know. I've always during this game I had the sense that my opponent was going to outplay me at some point, because of course they're higher rated. And that's what happens when you play someone that's like 300 points higher rated than you. So I was always just a little bit wary of stupid tricks that I might have. Like here, he might have some sacrifice on e3, and I really didn't want anything like that. First, I played queen c2. Thought was very reasonable. Now I have the idea of b4 and completely clamping down on the c5 square. Very nice. My opponent plays this move. I have to come back to d3. It's very clearly the best move, but best square for the knight. And now he has this move queen e4. And I'm always a little bit scared of something sacking on this square. Like after bishop h6 and him putting more pressure, that becomes a distinct possibility. Now, of course, he's attacking my knight, so I have to go back. I come back with tempo, and my opponent goes with this move queen g4, which on the surface looks very natural, but if you look at it a little bit more, queen g4 is just a big mistake, actually. And I don't play the best way here. Maybe I could have played, probably not knight c4, actually. Knight c4 is not correct. I wonder what the best move here is, actually. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't play the best move. I played rook e1, which is natural. Low-level entrances is the best move, but high-level entrances, there's something that's plus 0.9 here, and rook e1 only gives plus 0.6. I don't know, but I thought that rook e1 was very natural. Simply saying, of course, you will not be sacrificing on this square, because I was, again, very scared of sacrifices. Bishop h6, I say no sacrifice, and I play knight f1. Maybe a little bad. I could have actually just allowed him to sack, and there's actually nothing here for something like knight b4. And let's say knight takes, for example. There's nothing here. I have this move queen b3, which is very nice in this line. So maybe not knight b4. Let's say b4. b4 is another idea. b4 is another idea. If he takes, I can take, and it looks scary, but there's actually just nothing here, because my knight defends this square with the queen, and after, let's say, bishop takes, queen takes, he still has no checks because my rook defends it now, which is very nice. And I was always just a little wary of it. So I made sure that he couldn't do this by playing the move knight f1. My opponent starts to double up, and I have a very nice move here. I say, no, doubling up is wrong, because then I take on a7. And actually, he does have this move. He can sack the pawn, because he has f4 here, and he's actually busting through. Very rough move f4. And I have to at least give up a pawn. I have to play like ef. He has knight f4 here, and I mean, yeah, this is a little scary. Here I'd be winning, but yeah, he has this move knight h3 intermezzo and king g2, and now rook e7, and there's nothing. And this position, I mean, he's attacking my rook. He has the pressure, and I don't really like this. I'd probably play, I don't know, I'd probably first give a check, king f7, and play like rook c2 at something. I don't know. It's a tough position. It's a really tough position. Let's actually show rook c2. Rook c2, I immediately lose because of knight queen e4. It's yeah, just to show this is a rough position. But anyway, my opponent plays a6, missing that he can sack the pawn, so he plays a6. And I immediately hop in with a very nice move. I played this move knight b4 pretty quickly, saying that if I can trade some pieces out of your attack, then I'm probably just better because this is a weakness. I might be able to go queen b6 at some point and make some sacrifices, and well, not sacrifices, make some pins and win maybe the c6 pawn. And yeah, I just thought I was slightly better here. Now my opponent played queen e4. I simply took the knight. My opponent takes back with the c pawn, which I thought was wrong, by the way, because, I mean, one, it's an IQP, and two, it just allows my rook to get a very active file. I play this move queen d6. Very nice. I'm targeting this rook. And my opponent plays rook e8. I go knight d2, bring my knight out of f1, putting some pressure over here, and my opponent finds the only move. This is queen e6. Every other move is like queen d3, for example, is +2. I just win the d5, win the d5 pawn. So queen d6 is the only way to do anything. I have to trade, and I go for this move rook c7, getting my rooks on the 7th rank, and I'm just simply winning. I'm just simply winning. My opponent goes rook b6. I go b4. Don't want him to take any pawns. Now this move bishop here, which I didn't really understand. I guess his idea is that he's kind of bringing his pieces around. But if you can look at the clock for a second and the time management, my opponent has 35 seconds. What was very interesting about this game is that I was always in the lead. Let's go back to like the start. Like, let's say here, look, I'm up 30 seconds. I'm up 3 minutes. I'm up 3 minutes. I'm up a minute and a half. I mean, everything is going really well. But after bishop f8, I thought it was very simple. I'd go rook e1 and continue dominating the c file, because now this move is never a thing. It wasn't previously, but now it truly never is, and I should just be better. Now, bishop here, I trade the rooks, which was natural. Bishop rook d7 is actually slightly better. It's tough to say, but basically you're just saying that my opponent doesn't really have any more good moves. Like, maybe rook e7 is what you have to do, and then takes, rook c7. Oh, wait, no. I guess rook c7, yeah. And, I mean, at the very least, I'm getting my knight in up here. I'm probably going to win this pawn, and I'm just simply going to win the game. Very nice. But that doesn't happen. I go here. My opponent goes up. Now he only has 29 seconds on the clock. I trade. Now he only has 21 seconds on the clock. I don't know why he spent so long to take the rook. That's just kind of ridiculous, but I give this check. I come over here attacking his pawn. He defends it. I come back. The reason why I went over here to attack the pawn was basically to induce this move so then I could come back. And I thought that was very nice. Opponent goes here. I go rook d8, targeting the bishop. My bishop goes back. I pin him. 17 seconds. There, I go knight b3. Very reasonable. His king goes up, and then I'm just playing really fast now. As you can see, like all of my moves, 139, 139, 138. I'm playing very fast. I have to keep it going. Rook c7 is the only move here. When I say that, you can tell that I didn't play that move. I was just playing fast, and I thought knight c5 was very natural. Knight c5 is actually a blunder. It makes sense because I'm getting this, but with 13 seconds on the clock, my opponent can actually just run over here, win this pawn, and my king is not fast enough to pick up this pawn, so I would actually be losing this. He doesn't play that. He goes here, and here he actually times out. I assume because he was trying to calculate the whole position, but Either way, a little, not exactly what I wanted. I would have liked the smoother game. It was very smooth until that one mistake at the end. But I ended up playing this game at around, oh, what did I play this game at? 85.6% accuracy. My opponent played slightly higher, but um, yeah, I come out as the victor, which is very nice. So this game was my best game ever played, and yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for if you enjoyed the video, I'm happy, but um, hope you find this instructive, hope you found this entertaining. Yeah, all the above. Please subscribe and like, you know the drill. Good evening and good night.